Welcome, Expedians. This is Nutrition and Recovery from Illness. My name is Rachel. Now, maybe more than ever, we're recognizing the importance of supporting our immune system in order to not only fight off illness, but also to recover from it. So let's get into our topics. So we'll go over a brief overview of the immune system itself, kind of how that works. And then we'll talk about nutritional needs specific for illness recovery, because we do have a few things to consider, and nutrition needs for our general immune system support as well. And we'll go over some superfoods that you can focus on to best support your immune system. So when we say the immune system, it's a pretty broad topic we're discussing, right? It's a network of cells produced from various tissues and organs that work together to prevent illness by defending the body against antigens, which can be anything from bacteria, viruses, to even foreign material and pollen in relation to allergies. There's two different phases of our immune system. Our innate immunity is kind of our first line of defense. In relation to COVID, when we're talking about a respiratory virus, that would be our lungs when we breathe in, the different mucus and linings in there to kind of help protect us from being infected. And then our adaptive immunity is where a lot more of the cells and everything come involved to actually fight off an antigen. Often this is when, if we do get sick, we experience symptoms. It's important to note too that vaccines can cause similar symptoms of actual illness just because that's our body's response building our immunity up. So when we talk about illness, especially critical illness, there are a few nutrition differences to consider, and one of them is our hydration status, particularly with critical illness or for someone who has a fever. That increase in body temperature requires more water to do our daily functions, which can easily lead to dehydration. So making sure you're drinking adequate water at least every hour, making sure you keep that water bottle on you if you're recovering from an illness. And then a good general rule of thumb is around 3 liters a day for both while we are ill, and then maybe even the days following illness, depending on the length and the severity of it. Energy. So energy, of course, is very important for supporting our immune system in general, but especially for when we are sick or critically ill. And when I say critically ill, that generally refers to hospitalized patients for a serious condition. But illness that results in a fever can be hypermetabolic as well. And when I say hypermetabolic, that means we're burning more energy than we normally would be in order to help us fight off that infection. And so for this reason, when we're sick and when we're recovering from illness, it's not a great time to cut calories. We really want to make sure we're getting enough energy. Particularly protein, if you are bedridden for several days or of course several weeks, having extra protein can help support our tissue repair and slow down any kind of breakdown of muscle that's occurring. We also need adequate protein to support our immune cells as well. So whenever we have increased energy needs, we also have increased needs for those metabolic helpers, which mostly refers to our B vitamins, which we'll get into next. B vitamins. So thiamine is necessary for the metabolism of all our macronutrients, so our protein, our carbs, and our fats. It's involved in metabolism, and it has anti-inflammatory effects as well. So very important for our immune system support. We can find it in a lot of animal sources, especially pork. We can also find it in wheat germ and whole grain products. Riboflavin is another one of our B vitamins, essential for especially our innate immune function. Another one common in meats, but we also find it in leafy greens, dairy, cheese, and eggs. B6 supports our protein synthesis. So we need B6 in order to process our protein properly. We can find it in nutritional yeast, wheat germ, legumes, potatoes, bananas, pork, liver, and whole grain cereals. B12 is a big one. This helps with our oxygen delivery. So we need oxygen to help with tissue repair as well as general energy and functioning. It's also involved in our carbohydrate metabolism. We'll find this in liver, kidney, meat, cheese, eggs, fish. We'll also find it in cereals, nutritional yeast, soy products, and plant milks. This is an important one to note for vegans, that often supplementation is a good idea for B12. And so those are the big nutrients for, illness and critical illness especially. And now we're going to get into some more of those micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals that can help support our overall immune function. Vitamin C, I'm sure you've heard of vitamin C. It really is important. It protects cells from free radicals that can cause damage. It also assists the absorption of iron in our digestive tract. It's required to produce structural protein, including collagen, which is really important for our tissues, tissue repair, and joint mobility. Sources include not only citrus fruits. Some of the highest sources of vitamin C are actually bell peppers, broccoli, and papaya. Vitamin A, of course, important for our healthy vision. Also essential for wound healing, any kind of wounds on the skin, on the body. We really need vitamin A to help support that repair. You'll find vitamin A in your dark leafy greens, deep yellow colored vegetables, such as peppers, carrots. We'll also find it in milk and eggs. Vitamin E is a really important antioxidant, so that means it can remove free radicals from the body and prevent them from doing damage to our cells. May play a role in T cell and B cell production, which is involved in one of those phases of our immune response. Sources include vegetable oils, milk, eggs, leafy greens, pretty consistent with the leafy greens, fortified cereals, papaya, all kinds of different places that we find vitamin E. Vitamin D we need for normal bone function. There's also a big part of our immunity that exists within our bones, and so we definitely want to be supporting the health of our bones. Vitamin D also has a role in absorbing calcium and phosphorus in the intestines. Again, going into that bone support. It also has a role in the innate immune response itself. We'll find vitamin D not in really high amounts in food products. It is that sunshine vitamin, but we do find them in fortified eggs, fish, mushrooms, and milks. Selenium is one of our minerals. It's important for metabolizing fat, vitamin E. It also has a role in several of these immune cells' function and antibody production. We'll find them in grains, onions, meat, milk, and certain vegetables. This one can be very dependent on the soil content that it's grown in, fun fact. Zinc. Zinc is one that is really important for our immune response. It helps with enzyme production, DNA synthesis, wound healing, overall general immune support, but definitely one you want to speak with your provider, your dietitian, your doctor about prior to supplementing, because it can actually have a negative response on our immune function if we over supplement zinc. So we want to stay within that healthy range for zinc in order to get the benefits of it. 11 milligrams a day for healthy adult men, 8 milligrams a day healthy adult women. And we have some awesome common sources over here. Oysters are probably the biggest source of zinc. You'll also find it in firm tofu, hemp seeds, lentils, mushrooms, and oatmeal. Another little note on immunity here, 80% of our immune system is actually located in our gut and has a lot to do with our gut flora, which is that healthy bacteria that lives in our gut. And so therefore, supporting our gut health is incredibly important for having a healthy immunity and a healthy immune response when we get sick. In our large intestine, we synthesize vitamins. The gut flora in our body regulate the inflammatory response and help differentiate some of the cells of our actual immune system as well. So how do we support our gut? How do we make sure those little guys are healthy? Prebiotics and probiotics. Prebiotics, mostly referring to fiber, non-digestible foods that the bacteria can actually ferment within your digestive tract. So we might not be getting energy from them, but our gut flora gets energy from fiber. And then probiotics are actual live bacteria. So where prebiotics are the bacteria food, probiotics are actually trying to put bacteria into your gut. And so they're the live microorganisms. When administered in adequate amounts, can have a health benefit. They can be beneficial for both the digestive system and our immune system. So sources. So prebiotics, this is a short list here. There's plenty more foods that have prebiotics in them. Asparagus, artichokes, bananas, oatmeal, legumes. They can only be found in plant-based products. So thinking about those whole prior to processing plant-based foods, right? And then probiotics are foods that have been fermented. So yogurt, sauerkraut, fermented soft cheeses, kefir. And then probiotics can also be supplemented. It's unclear which one of those are better. We can often get a lot more probiotics into the digestive system through supplementation, so this can definitely be something to consider. All right, so I put together a list of some of my favorite superfoods for supporting our immune system that have lots of different components to them that are really helpful. So maybe number one on the list, arguably, but not really, spinach and other leafy greens are so incredibly healthy for us. They have that fiber to help support our gut and the little microorganisms to feed on. Vitamin C, vitamin E, A, and several B vitamins are also in really high amounts in leafy greens. Papaya and bell peppers are actually one of our highest sources of vitamin C. We also have really high amounts of E and vitamin A. Broccoli has vitamin C, selenium, and vitamin A. Mushrooms, if they're fortified, can have vitamin D. They also naturally have selenium and zinc in them as well. Oats or legumes, and I kind of did an either or here just because they have similar things in them. Tons and tons of fiber, really great for our digestion. Selenium, vitamin E, and B vitamins. Oysters, one of our highest sources of natural zinc. Also, fortified tofu has zinc, and both of these are great sources of B12. So tofu can be a really important one for a vegan diet to make sure you're getting adequate amounts of that B12 vitamin and zinc. And then not mentioned previously, some anti-inflammatory foods can be beneficial for our immune system as well. So anything containing omega-3s, so salmon is a great source of omega-3, walnuts is another great source. Turmeric, ginger, and green tea also have beneficial effects on decreasing inflammation, and green tea in particular is also an antioxidant. So it can help prevent substances from damaging our cells. It removes them, helps remove them from the body. When to supplement? This is definitely an important question because, like I said, especially with zinc, we can over-supplement, but supplementing can also be a really great addition to our diet if we're lacking diet variety, or if we have, had an illness that has depleted some of our stores that we've had of certain nutrients, right? So a standard multivitamin is pretty safe. Some of these nutrients below, we want to avoid exceeding 100% of our daily value. So if you look at the back of the label on your supplement, you'll generally see all the nutrients in it listed out. So iron, zinc, and other minerals. We generally don't want to go over 100% unless your doctor has told you you should. Vitamin A, E, and vitamin K, we don't want to overconsume either. A lot of the other vitamins, vitamin C and the B vitamins, often they are in our supplements over 100%, and that can actually be helpful for the absorption of them. But these nutrients in particular, we don't want to oversupplement. Vitamin D is something many people need to supplement, especially for those who don't get a lot of sun. If you're in a low sun climate, like me here in Seattle, then supplementing vitamin D is a good idea. For those who follow a vegan diet, supplementation is often a good idea, especially for B vitamins, zinc, iron, and calcium. And then talk to your provider. Supplementing is something that should definitely be personalized. Everyone's diet is different. So make sure you contact your doctor, your dietitian, to figure out what regimen is right for you. And so for those recovering from illness, and especially critical illness, making sure we still have that balance is really important. We might be, like I said previously, a little bit higher on the protein foods, a little more water, but generally we still want to be getting all these other food groups because that's where we get all those micronutrients, the vitamins, the minerals, and the metabolic helpers. Other than food and nutrition, making sure you're supporting your immune system in other ways. So getting adequate sleep is so critical, so critical. Find a sleep regimen that works for you. Exercise is also fantastic for our immune system, and stress management. Thank you, myfooddata.com, for all of the wonderful food lists. I highly recommend this website. It's really accurate as far as the daily values and all the different vitamins and foods. If you're curious what's in the foods you're eating, this is a great resource. And to wrap us up here, it's more important to include foods that help support our immune system rather than avoiding foods that we deem less healthy. So focus not on what you shouldn't be eating, but what you should be eating. Like I said before, it's not a great time to cut calories when you're recovering from illness. Make sure you're getting adequate energy, protein, water, and all of those other fruits and vegetables and grains to support your immune system. And with that, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you stay safe, healthy, connected, and we'll see you next time.